Hello, my name is Demetrius and this is my third confessional for the Harvard Diversity Project. Now, first, I want to say that this is a really more fun and lighthearted vibe. This interview, this is the third interview that we had, and it was a lot more lighthearted than the second interview that we had, which is the last one. There was just a big stark contrast between the two. The second one was more of a constructive criticism, serious vibe. Well, this was also very serious, but it was also had more, it had fun aspect at the same time and culture, and really a really more fun vibe, which is great because this whole interview was structured around a classroom, how the classroom setting will be if we get into the Harvard Diversity Project. Like this is how the classes are gonna be. This is like a snapshot, like Mr. Fleming said, and that's really good sign because I really enjoyed it, and it was a very fun vibe, and I really enjoyed everyone that was there, and so that's a really good sign that if I possibly get in, that's how the class would be like, which is a good sign. First, I also learned a lot this interview, a lot of things. First, it's really, really important to research the organization completely that you're trying to apply for. Any organization, any job, you want to research not only the organization itself, but also the people. Right after the whole interview, I made sure to go and watch all the YouTube videos that were on the Harvard Diversity Project's channel. And the one that really stuck out to me was Mr. Fleming's life story video where he was interviewed. And it stuck out to me for several reasons. First reason was that towards the end, he talked about the aspects of a leader and leadership, what's the most important, and one of his top ones were persuasion. And that's funny because we talked about that during the interview process, right? When we were in the interview today, we talked about the 4 top aspects of leadership, and one of them was persuasion, right? I think my group put that as the bottom one, but that was not all of my decision, right? I mean, it's a democracy, so what can you do? But that's like something that really stuck out to me. Also, it really shows how much effort and how much time and how much of his life he put into this project, into this organization, right? It really shows how much effort it took and how serious the commitment has to be for this organization, right? So much life and so much effort, and he built this whole organization from nothing, right? And how his background was, especially with the abuse and how of the whole injury and how in the suicide attempts, and how far he has come from those, and how much he's made and how much he's helping others. And that's not only inspiration to me, but also inspirational to everyone. And showing that with a simple opportunity, you can make it a big change for your whole community, right? He, that's something that really stuck out to me there. And it shows that you have to make sure that you research the people behind your organization and also the organization itself. Because if you don't align, if your goals and aspirations don't align with the organization's, then there's no point in you applying for it at all, because you want to go to a place that has your best goals and interests in mind. What you want to do, you want to go to an organization that is all about what you want to do, right? Your passion. And so that's something that you really have to research before just going into an organization. Another big thing I learned was about honesty, right? That was a really big point in the whole interview. You had several honesty checks, like who watched all the YouTube videos, and then you asked who actually put up the YouTube videos while we were in the interview, right? And also you asked who went to the launch, the kickoff. And I know that I went, and something that really resonated with me there was how comforting and encouraging everyone was there, right? When I immediately walked into the door, there were people clapping for me, encouraging me, and it really felt like I really felt good. Like I knew people, I saw people that I knew there, I felt encouraged, and it was just such a different atmosphere than I'm really used to, right? Like, I mean, I go to predominantly white schools, and that's not how people usually are, right? And that's where I spend most of my time is at school, right? That's a whole, I don't even know how many hours it is, like 12? It feels like 12. If it's a lot, that's not 12, but it's a lot of hours that you spend at school every single day, except for Saturday and Sunday for most people. And that's a big chunk of your life that you spend all the time there. So that's not what I'm always used to. But walking into that room where everyone was clapping for me and encouraging me, and people that I looked like me there, really hit home to me. And also, when I walked into the room, every single alumni that went on stage, they did a dance when they went on, which is really cool because I used to dance all the time, and I still do, right? But I used to dance like not professionally, but like I used to go to the dance. I was in the dance group, and I would dance on stage, and I would dance at home, and I would dance everywhere, and I still do. And it's always annoying to everyone, but it's okay because that's who I am. And that really was cool to see everyone who they are dancing because it really felt like I was around family. And even they called us, which I was not expecting, they called us to go on stage and dance with them. And I was like, oh, of course I will. So I went up there, and it was a lit time. And it was really cool. That whole experience to me was a really cool part of this year. So, and so that's how I also figured out that honesty is really important because it really shows, it's a really big part of figuring out and growing yourself and becoming better. Because in order to become better, you have to realize your mistakes and you have to say, okay, I'm never gonna do that again. How can I fix them? And how can I make sure I never do them again? Right? And the only way you're gonna get that is by being honest with yourself and thinking, okay, I messed up here. I did this wrong. I'm admitting my mistake and I'm never gonna do it again. And I have to make sure that I now know going on and how I can fix it so that I don't do it again. And that's something that's really important and that really shows, right? Like now I've been watching all of the YouTube things that are all over your website and looking at not only the organization but the people behind it, right? And so that's something that's really important that I learned during this interview. Something that's also really important is being to work as a team. We were split into teams 2 times during this interview, and it shows how important it is not only for this program but also for life in general, right? You're always going to be around people and you're always going to have colleagues, and you're not going to always have the best answer. And even if you do, it's always useful to have other people's opinions because you can only see like this. You only see what you see. And even if you broaden your approach, you're not going to be able to see everything. Someone's going to have a different opinion than you. And so it's also always useful to at least see the other person's opinion, whether they're close to you and they're agreeing with you, you have more evidence and more knowledge of how to better your claim. But even if they're against you, you can see what the enemy has to offer and you can see their thoughts and their opinions, and you can really understand. That's a really big part of it, is understanding your opponent. That way you can better negate their claim. And so it's always best to be able to work as a team so that you can have all these different viewpoints that you wouldn't have by yourself, right? And also it's really important to be concise. Like Ms. Britton said, it's really easy to get the main statement that you're trying to make lost in a jumble of words and information. And yes, it's always really important to have extra information, like a main topic. You always want to have evidence behind your claim. You want to have data. You want to have information, right? Because the more information you have, the more people are going to want to believe you. If you just say pandas are black and white, right? You can just say that, but that's not going to give you, no one's going to just believe you just because of that, right? You're going to have to say, like, oh yeah, here's a picture of them. See, they're black and white right here. This is evidence. You always want to have evidence, but it's really easy sometimes if you have the more evidence and extra information that you have, it's easier for your main claim and what you're really trying to say to get lost in it. So you always want to keep it concise, or at least make it really clear as to what your main idea is, so that your audience or who you're trying to prove this to, they can really understand your point instead of it just getting lost in a bunch of information. And also we saw obviously the poem that by Langston Hughes, and that was really a big part of it, and that really stuck with me because not only does it show what Mr. Fleming has gone through, right, whether it's purposeful or not, it shows what I now have to do, right? Because obviously Mr. Fleming, he took something from nothing and he took an opportunity and made as much as he could out of it, right? And that's what the main character does in this poem, right? He's oppressed. He's sent to the kitchen to eat. He can't eat at the table like everyone else. He basically said he's not equal as them, right? Because he eat at the kitchen. But he takes that oppression, and turns it into opportunity. He eats as much as he can. He gets all the knowledge and the strength that he can so that he can build his own seat for that table. And that way no one can tell him that he could not be there because he built his own seat, right? So he actually deserved to be there. Well, Mr. Fleming did the same thing. He took nothing. He took this nothing. It turned into this amazing program that helps so many people around the world. And that's something that could never imagine that really is a cool thing to do. And that's really what happened in the story. And now I have I have to build my own chair, my own seat at the table, right? Because Mr. Fleming has built this amazing table, this opportunity, and now I have to build my own seat for the table. I have to show what I can do, why I should be there, what all of my goals and all of my abilities are, and my personality, so that I can show them and build my own seat and say why I deserve to be at this table and in this organization. And that's something that really stuck out to me, and that really resonated with me, and that's what that's what I've taken away from that poem, and that's what I will continue to take away for the rest of my life. And also, Mr. Fleming talked about the 1% acceptance rate. And I did not realize this. And I knew that, like, obviously 2,000 people have entered, and I'm one of the 20 that are still in. And I thought about that, but it never stuck with me how crazy that is, that I'm in the 1% acceptance rate. And there's like brilliant minds from all across Atlanta and Georgia that are applying to this amazing program, and I was one of the 1% that are still in it. And I did not realize that. But that's something that's really important, because it shows how much effort, how many people have gone before me, and then like the 97% that have not gone, they don't have this opportunity anymore, but I still do. So it shows me that I have to make the most of it while I still have it. Anyways, thank you. My name is Demetrius, and thank you so much for this amazing opportunity. Hope to see you later.